So here we are again. Welcome, guys. Yeah, so this is just to show some of the other stuff that I was doing. While trying to maintain my routine of drawing heads and just practicing them with the forms and the shapes, I just really want to get to know them and really putting it in my long-term memory kind of stuff. So a lot more is here. This is my sketch project. Just a sketch file. So sometimes I would put them on to have just a better tease to understand about stuff. More faces. And some of the ratios. Okay. Oh, I almost forgot. Because I did things like this a lot. And I do think that one of the reasons that we don't actually see the heads, pretty decent or pretty good looking was because I believe it's, or maybe it's just me, but we are not used to see bald people that often, and we don't observe them that much enough to actually understand the anatomically correct way to do stuff. Yeah. Okay, so here's another one again with the sketch, the overlay, and some more stuff, some angles, and some implementation of the eyes. At this time I'm more aware of how the eyes can be more deformed and the cheeks and stuff can be better drawn, barely stylized. Yeah, now this we'll show later. So yeah, with the sketches, I actually I went on and checked out Proko, and I actually learned also decent stuff out of it. Obviously, I mean, he's been doing it for so long, and we are just so beginners here. Yeah, I was mostly drawing things like these. These were a bit similar to what I used to draw, and I do believe that this one, specifically this hat on the top here, is a bit incorrect in terms of ratios and stuff. Yeah. The one on the bottom I think is a bit more accurate. Yeah, it's just the length of the chin, though. Yeah, here's some more. You can see I did screw up on this at the left here. Yeah, I think it was a bit less focused on that, which led to, say, not so good looking sketch. So yeah, Proko. Well, on Proko, I understand how to correctly cut the sphere, and I think it was mostly it. So yeah, again with Proko and stuff, I did understand that in order for a good face or natural good looking face, we should be not only the good form or the big shape of the face, but we also need just the specific details to be good. So I went on and study a bunch of them. Yeah, here I started with drawing a bunch of heads again to remember the ratios. Still, I'm trying to do it almost daily. And I just watched a video on Proko about the ears. Yeah, name out the main parts of it: helix, anti-helix, anti-helix, and the earlobe. Okay. Well, actually, watching Proko at this point, I also understand a lot of stuff. Yeah, like his way of shading, you know, the steps for shading stuff. So this was just one ear, the viewpoint which a lot of planes is visible, and they could see and understand a lot of forms that is happening here. Next up, it was the eyes. So for the eyes, we understood also the basic forms of it. This obviously I understood at a medium level, which was spheres and eyelids covering it, but at which angle and which kind of curvature that we're talking about, it was vaguely understood. So yeah, I went on and studied about the eyes, and I also thought about this point right here, the other end of the eye, and it varies. Yeah, on Asians it's actually up here, which is real key point to differentiate and actually create some of the differences. This is not grammatically correct. The cornea, the iris, and stuff. Next up, I went on and also check out Proko's guide on shadings. Yeah, basically with these, I'm not that experienced with shading. Again, with his guides, it was as easy as it could be. It was step by step, and you could play it slow. The only thing that you need is to try and train your eyes to at least draw the correct shapes, and secondly, you need different different types of pencils, which is darker in value. It just provides darker values. And the last is the steps to shade with pencils. Yeah, I did learn about figure drawing previously at my school, but at that time the courses were really fast, and I didn't have a chance and was not really determined to actually learn that much. And now everything's different. Yeah, now I'm so determined and so motivated to learn. Okay, so for Korymax channel, guys, if you actually catch on to my video here, please visit this guy's channel. I mean, this person has been drawing since forever. It's like 13 years or something. It's so long. And his guides on drawing alone, and again, it was insanely good. And it was so underrated that he streams every single day, but almost only 1 or 3, maximum 5 people watches it. And I feel like it's kind of like a shame, because he could actually be a real art teacher making a living, making good use of his skills. Okay, so without further ado, I went up and checked out his mapping of the eyes. Yeah, and I specifically went for this person because of this too. You see, he also encourages us to find our own ways to draw, because not every single person has to follow, you know, the perfect ratio and stuff. Well, but the only thing that we cannot deny is those ratios actually does help us draw a reasonable, or should I say just an ideal, a super ideal person. So yes, anyways, back to face drawings. This is how he mapped his eyes. with one of his most recent videos I could find, and it was very interesting, and it was so fitting with say eyes that are like this, and just some more simple eyes that are this. Yeah, two shapes. Here's the comparison between the two. Here's the two again, and where you put the eyes, the eyebrows, the nose, and the nose will be more visible later on. Yeah, so side view. Okay, so yeah, front view, I was a bit not so familiar with this method, so the first few tries of the eye mapping went a bit something, but it still works again. And I do these in a bit different way because Korymax does it in his way of drawing is so different from me. So he actually draws the shapes first and then actually does the outline, but he already has a very good understanding of what the shape should look like because he's been drawing for so long. Me, on the other hand, is still based on simple methods to build a head. So I built a round circle again, should I say sphere, and divide the three, and I start with the bottom line of the two shapes, the bottom line of the eye, and then I work my way up and map out the rest. And it was rather understandable, I believe. Here are some more, and some of them in the side view, which can be aligned with just the normal ratios, but it does helps with eyes like these. Now you just have to measure them correctly with the division in perspective. Okay, so with Korymax again, that was on paper, and here's on digital, and you can see that these are very reasonable looking. Yeah, they aren't that, too special. Yeah, very reasonable looking. And here are the two shapes with the division line that's added. Yeah, just try and draw it with just lines, understand it instead of drawing the shapes, because I'm just not that familiar with that. Plus, I actually don't know the way to actually draw them with such transparency. I think it was just the opacity of the pen, or say there's some special modes, or he just did it in one stroke, which is super hard, so I cannot do that. And I just started off with a normal face construction and then added on his method of mapping the eyes. Okay, last but not least, Mogoon. Yeah, this to me is one of the hardest one. Yeah, it's basically like a carving way to a head. Yeah, it's not building it up, it's carving it from specifically a cube in perspective. So getting back to this is where I started learning it. So with Mogoon, we have to purchase his course in Coloso. Sadly, you guys can't see it, but it's actually rather simple. This is just a normal human ratio head according to high channel, and here's a box. Okay, that was a bit too yeah, here's a box in perspective. It's not a cube. Yeah, I think hexahedrogons is not a cube, right? It's just a box in perspective. Anyways, you put on the ratios of this similar to this. You put it on the front plane, and then you divide the other planes, which you can map out in perspective, and then make a head. Now looking back at it, I do clearly see a lot of stuff being wrong here, but yeah, there is still room for improvements, and the best one I can do is to try and draw more cubes in perspective, which I will gladly do later on. Even though it's a very basic stuff, I'm very sorry, but I will do it. I will grind on it. So the only takeaway on this, I would say, is a lot of times I find myself having to put the front plane too extended from the side plane. Like this kind of gap is too long. I can find myself doing things like this, and having the face with a much more reasonable looking form. Yeah, more than the elongated stuff. So the point to take away here is to really map out the side plane, its correlation to the front plane. And I did note that on on Mogoon's guides, face does not sit in this box for the rest of the stuff at the back here, but the front plane, it extrudes out of the box here. So we do have to count for that. Yeah, and not just the side planes that we see on the box to accurately draw one. So that was just the first take. Now let's get back to here. Here's some more Mogoon's take on this. Here's a piece. I did separate it to a guide. Yeah, it's been looking a bit flat. Again, you have the simple mapping. Try and draw a box in perspective, and then you put in the ratio. Then you put in the marks for the ratios on the other planes, and then you start putting on some main stuff, and then you would edit and change it later on to something that is more finally looking, which is a bit better pleasing. Yeah, again here it does feel a bit too much elongated, which I do have to adjust with my face drawing from a box in perspective like this. But again, I'll give more practices on that. But yeah, I show you the steps already. Yeah, the simple steps on, say, how you would map out the details of the ratios of the other planes of the boxes. Well, it's based on our own knowledge of, say, studying others at side planes too. Yeah, you can see here we carve out almost every single plane to figure out where things goes, and we have guidelines, touches the edges of every box, every planes of the box, and then we draw the outline of what we can see from our perspective, and then later on we adjust the ratio to our likings, and basically it's also a reasonable looking head if you can do it persistent enough. And it's a rather good method for those who struggle with drawing heads just like me. When trying to fix does not help making better, especially with your heads. Okay, so after the 4 channels, yeah, I started to have more conversions to having more completed versions of drawing. But again, I can say that not all of this is success to me. And here's a more practical example. So here I map out a face, I have a look at it, and then later on I put on some guides for a character, which is Nino from Gotōbun no Hanayome, and then I tried to do an outline, which I later found out to be a bit disappointing. Yeah, somehow I feel like it's a bit too wide on the bottom sides, or at least it just does not appeal to me. But yeah, I did not stop there. So with the better understanding of ways to map the eyes, and what I can recall from what I learned at the start, which was height channel, I quickly did better sketches just a day after it, thinking about other ways I could simplify it. And here's one. Now it's not looking like the same character, but with, say, the same hairstyle and still a very circle eyes, and this only was done in one layer, while the other one was like 3 layers, and it still does not look so good. Yeah, we can understand that, well, it's progress, and sometimes we need to take a bit time off and think, or just time and rest. Yes. And so I started to do a bit more stuff that is more completed to mark my conversions to drawing with references. Yes, that will be my next step after this first part of my session of learning how to draw heads. So here are some better examples. Yep, this was also very easily created with just one layer, and I do do feel like it's somehow better than, say, one of my it's just one of the easier ways to draw than one of my paintings, which I did in what was it, this September. Yeah, this was the process of it, but yeah, it was very hard, or at least I was struggling, and I was not so happy with the face, and yeah, it was just taking a lot of time to draw the face, whereas this I could just clearly do a simple sketch, which basically can be the line with just, you know, erasing the circles and stuff. And here's some more sketches. I do get a bit dirty on the parts where in the anime stylized version it should actually be just paint. Yeah, and or at least better texturized, but I just used the same brush and tried to crosshatch on digital. I was not prepared for that. Yeah, crosshatching on paper is so much more easier. Yeah, on digital, well, we would need a better pen for that. So again, here are just some more stuff. Oh, and as you guys might have seen before, here are some more. Yeah, again, cross-hatching. It's decent, actually, not cross-hatching. Some are just, you know, yeah, just basically putting on strokes of pencil. This also, I was rather happy with this. Yeah, so on one of my laziest days, I would only be doing like one of these. And on the other, like on the next day, I would be doing 3 of the others. Yeah, so sometimes it's hard. Also, a lot of incidents occurred in this session. A test came about academic writing, and well, it took me a day to study, a day to travel and get the test offline. And also, just 1 week ago, I got hit by a car. It was not actually a real hit, but it was an actual accident, and I do have to get some treatments for my leg. So yeah, a lot of stuff occurred. But well, we have to focus on maintaining our levels here. So not only with the almost completed forms of just stylized anime drawings, I also did some just human just some normal human faces. And last but not least, I did manage to learn some skulls too. Yeah, so the basic anatomy of the skull and where things sit, how to actually correctly measure them. Yeah, it was rather surprising about a lot of stuff. Yeah, for example, this skull on the left here is actually very easy. To me, it is very easy to draw, now that I can understand it. Yeah, the one on the right, well, the angles are a bit hard, but it's also a bit harder to draw this and this, you know, just the hard planes that exist. So yeah, I'll show you guys a link on how to draw this thing, which is very easy. It's very easy because it's actually everything depends on a single rate, mostly thirds, the division by thirds for a lot of length, a lot of measurements, you know, that was done just by doing thirds. It can be a bit more confusing when you try to do it, say, on a paper wise, which you did prior to digital, but it does help. Yeah, it does help us to understand a lot about the rates of this. So I'm gonna be moving to the final part of this video, which is just a small demonstration of the recap of everything, which I am very proud to present to you guys, and I just hope that I can have a better evidence for my improvements, and I have a strong foundation to move on to drawings with references. So basically learning from these videos is already a source of reference, but yeah, the real reference that I was talking about was just artworks and also normal people's photos and stuff. And yeah, I would really like to try and draw them, and also try to render them as much as I could on paper, because digitally it's still kind of hard. Yeah, learning value is also really fun. Okay, these plates are not even here. Better start collapsing them in. Yeah, I'm taking advantage of it a bit too much. Sorry. Anyways, yeah. So first of it the first of the recap is the face ratio from 3/3 view. Oh my god, my handwriting here is so suck. Okay, let me just draw a circle now. Again, this will also pair with how to cut a simple sphere, which is this. The length of, say, this thing is 2/3 compared to this. You guys can just go straight to this point from the video if you guys want. And also the measurement of the heads from 3/3 is actually from the following perspective lines from the bottom. I think from the top is okay too. Yeah, so normally I wouldn't know where to put like these divisions, but say with the help of the following perspective line from this point down here, we can have a better measurement system, which we can extend to the top that has the equal amount, and then put them in also in perspective. And also cast one down here. Yeah, so we have a better measured face. 6 is how big is the sphere? Yeah. So normally so for the skull that I drew earlier, this the circle, the sphere that was rather small. It does not reach the mouth. As you can see here, it does reach the mouth though. Yeah. Divided by 3, so that is the separation between the lips. Yeah, so in a lot of times the sphere should be a bit bigger, as that is just what I thought, and that is just what I believe in, to be easier to draw a face. Yeah, it should be big, because the smaller ones, well, I would say it's a bit harder to do, and even academically correctly, I think the smaller one is, say, more accurate. But in terms of overall scale, if you cut from a big sphere, it actually ends up looking like there's a small sphere form inside too. So it does, but overall the big sphere, in my opinion, helps with drawing it in a rotated form much easier. Yeah, because like a small sphere, it would actually people would actually do things like these. I mean, we won't understand it from the start, and it doesn't feel too much of a cutting thing that happens over here, and much more is, you know, required. And personally, I don't like that. Yeah, cutting from a bigger sphere helps us understand it, I think, better. Also, how to cut it, which I mentioned, is here, the length of the cutting edge. Also, yeah, the angle of the cutting. Yeah, I almost forgot. So the angle of the cutting is actually not parallel to this line. Sometimes it can actually be this, yeah, which is the angle of the ear itself too. So it would converge to each other, and this would also not be straight. It would actually curve in a bit. Okay. So another thing, another myth that I busted out myself was the eyes in the exact middle of the face? The answer is correct too. Yeah. While I was learning the front face ratio, I understood that it was two halves, not so equal. Yeah, so there's like these three that's equal together, and this is like a half of it. Yeah, but when we have a division over here, it actually divides the face to two equal parts. 1.75. 1.75. I mean, yeah, that was on a normal human being. Let's just draw some stuff here. A normal human face. Yeah, the eyes wouldn't fall like that. But okay. Yeah. Next up is how we would do an anime stylized chin. So sometimes the chin can actually not be as deep as, say, the normal measuring goes, which is like here. So it can go a bit in the upper side. It will still work. You can actually put, say, an angle like this and it will still work. Yes. Okay. Oops. Again, that's the chin. And the ear angle, which I discussed earlier. Ear angle should be a bit not so straight like that, but you know, cast it to the side like that. Again, here's the side view of it. Sometimes the ear can be like this. Cut it, cut it, cut it. Yep. Okay. And stylize anime eyes and cheeks. So anime eyes. And cheeks. It's actually a bit too equal. It's not what I would prefer. Yeah. I prefer them to be more angled. And also stylize anime nose. So to high channel, it's actually a bit too much on the right, but that's still okay, as you guys can see. And sometimes it's not too okay. Yeah, and I'm feeling pretty proud of how fast I could just draw that. But yeah, there's a lot of improvements to be made here. There's a lot of ways I could map out the face in order to actually put these things in the correct perspective. That's just the tip of the nose. Yeah, the pointy here that you guys can notice is different for people. For some kind of artists, is because they represent different points. Sometimes it's this point. Yeah, let's just draw a simple nose here to end up discussion. Yep, I'll almost close up the video here. Yeah, so sometimes the point represents the top of the nose before it curves down. It represents this part of the nose, which is where the nose would end. Yeah, and also with, say, European noses, sometimes they get in, like they tuck in on the angle. Yeah, it's not this, but it's this. So the end point of the nose on the face, yeah, the second half here, yeah, it can vary. So, well, I'll experience that when I try to draw with real human faces. But yeah, just note that the dot that they represent the nose, it can be different in a lot of times, and the only way that we can understand it, or at least make use of it effectively, is to keep on practicing. and so I'm really aiming to broaden my library of stylized art, stylized details, which refers to the ears, the eyes, and even the chin shape, and sometimes even the cheeks shape. Yeah, just the main planes of the body. Yeah, that is in anime stylized, which I do aim, and sometimes even so on the real person side, real human side, I would be aiming for methods to oh my god, I just turned this person to look so old just by these two. My god. Yeah, just some better facial features and just being betterly experienced with drawing heads. So yeah, that is it with my first part of my study session. I really do hope that you guys can get something out of watching my video. Maybe it's just these guides, maybe it's just these takeouts that I get from studying myself, but yeah, sometimes you might find even better stuff that you didn't know before while trying. Yeah, and this is what I believe that would help me to even more perfectly get better results. Oh, so it's actually kind of over Christmas by now, but yeah, I'm in Vietnam, and Vietnamese people mostly does not celebrate Christmas. Anyways, I do have some sketches planned out, which is not just this, but it's more, and there's actually better lines of it, but here's just a teaser. So I'll be releasing another video, hopefully still in the verge of 2023, which is only, say, 3 days left, if I'm correct. Yeah, I'll be able to do some colors and stuff, and also some time lapse of other sketches that I did. Yeah, just to be noting, this is supposed to be Nino, which is now not looking so Nino-like. But yeah, all my perfected lines and stuff, which is like I'll show you on a flash. Oh, okay, I just yep, that was it. But anyways, yeah, I'll be trying to have some kind of coloring done to that. But overall, this was a fun thing to do, and I do look forward to just trying to do just a bit of this every single day too, while learning even new stuff, and also just snuck in maybe more daily stuff. Yeah, so this is also what I would plan on the future to be making, which is a daily dose for artists, because yeah, what I understand till this point is, in order to gain knowledge, to gain experience, to gain muscle memory from these, we have to do them almost every single day. And to my understanding, the time we need to do them is not that hard, and the actual exercise is also not that complicated. Draw a head in front view, draw a head in 3/4 view. Okay, so it's 3/4 and not 3/4. Draw a head in a side view, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, well, with the most details and say the accuracy possible. Yeah, and again, actually, if you actually ever try to do this, you would realize there is a mistake you can be making. And if you're not working on a so-called digital medium, which is a digital tablet or something similar, you might want to have a better correction of it, more than just erasing it. Yeah, and even here, I'm making somewhat I'm not confidently telling about other people that this is what I drew, so I have to keep on drawing more. Another one that might have a better chance of making myself proud of it. Yeah, it's very simple. Again, hope you guys get inspired of this, and I'll be updating on my second part. Yeah, it's gonna be a very long journey, and I do also never plan to stop it either. So thank you all for watching. Hope you have a great Christmas. And oh yeah, tomorrow is actually also, and it's not tomorrow anymore, it's actually the day. So I will also be rolling for a new character that's coming out in Honkai Star Rail. If you guys are interested, please check out. I'll be rolling for Ranmei. I have a lot stacked up for her, and yeah, really expecting that she will show up. I also have a ritual, if you guys don't know, which is the 3 plushies that I have on the background of my channel. Oh my god, there's a lot to say when I come back on YouTube like this, but I do understand that this is for the best, and I do hope that this will furtherly have better results on my art overall. Hopefully I can have better time into drawing stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of plans I had in the past for drawing stuff for people. It's not just for money, but just out of respect, and I wanted to give them out as gifts for people who are yeah, for people who I respect and I honor. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and yeah, goodbye.